Honestly, I haven't even looked at Metal Gear Survive. And on not that note, but other notes. Hello, everybody. Aha! Did not catch my breath in the microphone this time. All I hear is that Metal Gear Survive is absolutely terrible. I haven't played a Metal Gear game since Metal Gear Solid 2, personally. Just because I tried playing Metal Gear Solid 2 and went, you know what? I think I'm done with this. I was not a fan of the... I wasn't a big fan of the super complicated plot in the first game, and they just ramp it up. It's like, I think they went about 15 steps further than they needed to with this plot. And then number 2 was just so much worse. I didn't even hate Raiden all that much. Oddly enough. However, if you think EA has learned anything in terms of a lesson, they're putting microtransactions back in Star Wars. Yeah. So, oh yeah, I know, David Hayter, they kicked him out to get a, Hollywood superstar voicing the character. Oh yeah, I was not happy with that. Even if I wasn't still playing the games. I was not happy with hearing that news. That they took away probably one of the 5 most iconic voices ever. I don't know what they're... I don't know the extent of how much costuming and all that is for Star Wars Battlefront 2. But, you know. And speaking of costumes, last night, one of the people I play Warframe with gifted me the Octavia Warframe in Warframe, oddly enough. And, oh boy, that's something I probably shouldn't have. That is something I probably should not be allowed to have, but I have it. Once I figure out how to work the interface, I am going to be composing some interesting songs. Once I figure out how to work that interface. And once I see what options are available to me. So anyway, I'm delaying, aren't I? I think I am. We're next to the apocalypse, aren't we? I didn't mean for my voice to crack there, but it wasn't a bad time on that crack. Anyway. Higurashi when they cry. Higurashi, you will cry. We will break your little mind, player. That should have been the title. But yeah, the Octavia Warframe is a ton of freaking fun to play. Watching enemies do a conga line to follow my little roving death ball around is hilarious. Yep, let's kick off an apocalypse here. The problem is Keiichi's the dumbest guy in the universe every time. Even in the Omniverse, yeah, there aren't many that are more thick-headed than he is. There was no way I'd be able to sleep. When she hung up the phone like that, I realized for the first time what kind of situation I was in, as well as the only ally who would support me was. I waited with bated breath for Shion to calm down and call me back. What would I do if the phone rang while I was sound asleep? No matter how long I waited, however, it never rang. Exhausted, whenever my mind started to wander, I would jolt awake as though I heard the phone ring. In the end, I brought the cordless phone with me into my futon and went to sleep with it in my arms. Though it still didn't amount to anything. Morning came, and by that time, I was pretty sure she wasn't calling back. I mean, you know, hours and hours just go by. That was when a fierce drowsiness assailed me. I slapped myself in the face a few times. Then, I went to the washroom and washed my face, which was something I usually didn't do. That wasn't enough either, so I even brushed my teeth. Basic personal hygiene is something you don't typically... I can see why you don't have a lot of friends. I'm just saying. After that, I was finally wide awake. When Mom saw how strange I was acting, her eyes went wide.
どうしたの、ケイイチ。今日はどこかにお出かけでもするの？
うん。学校に。
ケイイチ君、なんだか今日も調子悪そう。やっぱり風邪かな。
Something like that.
風邪じゃなくて寝不足なんだ。寝ぼけてわけのわかんないことを言い出したらフォローよろしくな。
ケイイチ君、寝ぼけたらどんなこと喋り出すのかなちょっと楽しみかも。はう。
Oh God, you're going to be the one to kill us, aren't you? I felt utterly shattered, and I still hadn't picked myself back up this morning. And for precisely that reason, Reina's honest smile was a sight for sore eyes.
よ、ケイちゃんにレナ。おはよ
あれれみーちゃんもなんだか寝不足な感じだよ。
What were you doing? Mion had gone home early yesterday with sleep deprivation, but she didn't look too good this morning either. Her usual cheerfulness was completely buried in shadow.
うん。寝たの3時ぐらいだからね。
Damn, what were you... Oh yeah, the whole thing with the mayor.
眠い。
3時？昨日に続いてか？おいおい、夜更かしにも限度ってもんがあるぞ。大方漫画の単行本が面白くなっちゃって一巻から読破してしまったんだろ。俺にも経験があるぞ。
I joked, trying to shake off my sleepiness. I was trying to be considerate. However, neither Mion nor Reina smiled. In fact, they didn't even pay attention. Reina's expression immediately darkened.
あれひょっとして村長さんのこと？まだ見つかってないの？
Yeah, the mayor got demoned away. Shock.
うん。
おい、ちょっと待ってくれ。村長さんが見つかってないって何の話だ？
Even the classroom, which was normally bursting with bright, joking voices, seemed filled with a different sort of murmur today.
おはようございます、ケイイチさん。聞きました？
Why this music for her talking? Was this the thing that was necessary?
なんだか大変なことになりましたわね。
俺はその村長さんって人をよく知らないんだが、ジジイなんだろ？ボケて徘徊してるだけじゃないのか？
He's the mayor.
村長さんはボケてなんかいませんですわ。お習字も教えるし、剣道も教える、はつらつな方でございますの。
Oh, good, he's a samurai.
僕と同じで、きっとどこかで迷子なのですよ。
Like you?
迷子いいね。
Time out. How is that cute?
はう、お持ち帰り。
I'm not surprised by that. You want to take her home all the time. Getting lost is only cute because children like Rika-chan do it. A worn-out old man getting lost isn't moe in the slightest. While my mind entertained dumb thoughts like that, our teacher arrived. Everyone rushed to their seats.
皆さん、おはようございます。
I see the curry gods weren't offended, so you're still here and reasonably sane. Good morning. The class greeting was normal, but the atmosphere in the room was heavy.
すでに聞いている方もいるかもしれませんが、昨日の夜、村長さんが夜遅くになってもお家に帰ってこなかったのだそうです。
I'm calling heart attack on the way home from his Go games.
皆さんの中で昨日村長さんを見た人はいますか？
One or two hands went up in the silence, and they told her about having seen him. None of it seemed to be vital information, however, and everyone began whispering amongst themselves.
もしも村長さんを見かけた人は大人の人に教えてあげてくださいね。それでは授業を始めます。
After that, the same old lessons began. The rumors, once quieted, blossomed in flowers again at lunchtime. I could hear a few different conversations. They were mostly related to the mayor's disappearance. Summing them up, all I came out with was this. Yesterday evening, the mayor went to a meeting at the shrine's assembly hall. The meeting ended after the sun had fully set and everyone left. Yeah, he probably could change his religion to curry god, worshipping the curry god. He gets something out of it. It definitely has better perks than worshipping Oyashiro-sama right about now. The elder's house was a bit far from the center of Hinamizawa. It was already late, and Hinamizawa doesn't have a lot of lights outside. Nobody saw the mayor after the meeting. However, because he would have been hungry, he wouldn't have taken any side trips. He would have gone straight home. However, no matter how long his family waited, he never returned. Some thought there might have been an accident. They left no stone unturned. They searched from the irrigation channels to the water wells and even in the rice paddies, but they didn't find him. Of course, there was a limit to how far they could search in the middle of the night. The police were going to wait for daylight, then have the young men of the town help search. If after all that they still didn't find him, they were apparently even going to go looking in the mountains. Even now, at this moment, the adults were probably all searching for him. The more they searched in vain, and the more time passed, the only thing that came to mind was the curse. The rumors of Onikakushi, of the demoning away. Had he become this year's sacrifice to Uyashiro-sama's curse, which had recently been occurring every year? That scary possibility, which everyone thought about but nobody could say aloud, was slowly but surely spreading throughout the village. Was he demoned away and offered as a sacrifice to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger? My classmates were whispering to each other that the curse didn't happen this year, so there shouldn't have been any sacrifices. I, on the other hand, I knew. The curse did happen again this year, and there were 2 people that died. This may sound strange, but I hadn't exactly thought the elder would be the one to go missing. My reason was clear. Shion and I could have been a higher priority than him. The 4 of us were thieves that broke the taboo and set foot into the sacred ritual storehouse. If Tomotaki-san and Takano-san had suffered mysterious deaths, then it should have been mine and Shion's turn next.
今度こそ俺かシオンの番なのにな。
I laughed painfully to myself. I'd yelled at Shion over the phone that I didn't want to end up in such a terrifying situation, but now that some other me had disappeared, I can only think that I should have been the first to go. Onagafuchi, the bottomless swamp, said to have been the place where they drowned sacrifices long ago. Just as it ran through my thoughts, villagers must have also considered the swamp. Maybe the police divers were plumbing its depths even now. They probably wouldn't find anyone. Not a single missing person had ever been found. They'd always suspected Onagafuchi, but not once have they ever turned up a corpse from it. After all, it was a devilish, bottomless swamp from which no one who sinks can ever return. I could hear someone telling their friend that in the classroom.
そういえば、サトシさんがいなくなったのも去年の今頃だったね。
Oh good, we're bringing up Satoshi again. Huh? Satoshi? I've heard that name before. Right before I started swinging a baseball bat around. He was right. He disappeared because of last year's curse. The conversation was happening in the seat next to me, so I could hear it clearly.
サトシさんの時も確かこんな風に村中で探したんじゃなかったっけ。あれも見つからなかったんだよね。あれって結局どうなったんだっけ。確か鬼隠しじゃなかったんだよね。
うん。貯金を全部下ろして家出しちゃったんだって聞いたよ。警察の人が名古屋駅で新幹線に乗るところを見た人がいるとか言ってたもん。
Ran away, huh? I wasn't that interested in the reason, which seemed understandable in this case. Everyone else who disappeared had their own reasons too. Either they were still on the run because they were criminals, or they were a corpse that couldn't be found. It's not like any of them suddenly disappeared into thin air for no reason. But they disappeared. Someone disappeared whenever the curse took a life, as if by design. Yeah, he should probably look into that bullet train. He should probably borrow some money from his parents and, take a little trip for the rest of his life. I hear Australia's nice this time of year. They may have had various understandable reasons, but they still disappeared. From that point of view, it really might have been a demoning away this time. The mayor's disappearance was the first such incident without a clear reason behind it. Of course, coming to that realization didn't help to resolve anything. Personal space, Reina! God damn it, Reina!
ごめん。
Normally, Reina would have devoured her lunch immediately, but today there was still a ton left. That wasn't because Reina's lunch didn't taste good or anything, though. Satoko! God damn it! Step back, please! Get out of my face!
レナさんのお弁当は今日もとっても美味でしたよ。
Satoko dips her chopsticks into Reina's bento box and pulls bits of food out one after the other.
おいしいおいしい。今日も格別でしたよ。
Can you two take a step back, please? That's not helping.
それかぼちゃのコロッケだよ。
Pumpkin croquette. That sounds interesting. Man, that actually sounds interesting. It really does.
大丈夫？レナさんのかぼちゃならとっても美味しいですわ。
I take it you don't like pumpkin. Did Satoko dislike pumpkin? Regardless, she forced herself to smile and shoved more into her mouth. Everyone knew. Nobody's lunch tasted very good today. Satoko kept shoveling it down, repeating her remark on how good it was.
そんなにうまいなら俺もいただかないとな。このままじゃ全部聡子に食われちまう。
あんまりにも美味しいので、ぜひケイイチさんにも召し上がってほしいですわね。
Did you put a needle in it? I'm just asking.
たまには俺も年上らしい寛大さを見せないとな。よし、遠慮するな。今日は俺の分まで食ってよし。
Yep, we're going to hell or something.
うわー。
I don't think that act's gonna work. She really, really hated pumpkin, didn't she? That made it all the more touching to see Satoko's own brand of generosity. I grabbed her head and started stroking it. Satoko, in a somewhat exaggerated fashion, was bawling, tears streaming down her face.
嘘だよ。そんなにうまいものを譲るほど大人にはなれないよ。レナも食え。俺のは夕べのおでんの残り物だが、おでんは一晩経ってからがうまいんだぜ。
お大根が綺麗な色に透き通ってて美味しそう。
Uh-huh.
じゃあいただこうかな。
Reina reached out with her chopsticks, and at last the usual lunchtime atmosphere began to return. That was only at our desks, however. The dark tales of Oyashiro-sama's curse, which had recurred for the past 5 years in a row, didn't cease. The whole classroom remained stuck in this somber mood. Oyashiro-sama's curse had happened for 5 years straight. Everyone had wanted the previous year to be the last. What was Oyashiro-sama's curse, anyway? They were going to build a dam in Hinamizawa. The people building it were bad, so they were cursed. I would admit that much. Still, the dam project was frozen years ago, wasn't it? So why was the curse stubbornly persisting? I hit myself on the cheeks to perk myself back up. Everyone was trying so hard to brighten the mood. I couldn't go straight back to thinking about the curse like that. I forced the grim story out of my head. Driving Oyashiro-sama's curse out of my thoughts was actually a good idea. In the end, that meant I would also be driving away the most terrifying thought of all, that I could be the curse's next target.
しかしミオンは遅いな。あいつのお手洗いってこんなに長いのか？
Depends how much blood there is on them. Mion had said she was going to wash her hands and left, and she hadn't come back yet. Mion isn't prone to self-harm, is she? 'Cause I swear we've seen something very similar to this situation before. I'm just curious, has Mion shown any tendency to self-harm that I've missed? As I really don't want to walk in on that. God damn it, personal space!
多分どっかでお昼寝してるんだと思う。
Uh-huh.
昨べはきっと遅くまで村長さんを探すお手伝いをしてたんだと思うから。
Yeah, that is a good point. I smiled wryly and let out a sigh. Today was no good. However much we tried to lighten the mood, things always came back to the mayor. It was just a no-good day. I just transferred here recently, so the shock of a curse happening 5 years running was an unimaginably big one. Aikizuna? I do not know this person. And yeah, the Doki Doki Literature Club protagonist is not very likable, no. The Doki Doki Literature Club protagonist is a freaking idiot. Like most anime visual novel protagonists. I don't like the protagonist. But after a while, the protagonist doesn't matter. I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. Yeah, the DDLC protagonist is a pretty horrible person. Thankfully, that doesn't matter at the end because the protagonist pretense drops. But, you know. Maybe I do need to appreciate that.
村長さんはね、
That worked.
ちっちゃかった頃、みーちゃんのことをすごく可愛がってくれたんだって。いたずら盛りのみーちゃんをすごく可愛がってくれたって。よく話してたな。
I see. Mion was in shock, too. Someone disappearing at all because of a curse was a very scary thing. If the sacrifice was someone you knew, though, then the shock must be 100 times worse. Satoko, as if she'd come to the same conclusion, bit her lower lip and looked downward.
そういえばリカちゃんも遅いな。ひょっとしてリカちゃんも仲良くお昼寝か？
リカはそんなに遅くまではお付き合いしませんでしたわ。
Why do people want to be in my face?
リカがあくびをしたら皆さんみんなしておやすみなさいませ、おやすみなさいませって。
Now that you mention it, there were a lot of old people rubbing their prayer beads in fervent gratitude towards Rika-chan during the festival, too. An image of the indulgent elderly came to mind. Had Rika-chan discovered a way to get herself to be pampered like that?
リカちゃんって何気に年寄りのアイドルだな。理想の孫娘像ってやつなのか？
そんなの知らない。
Eh.
でもリカちゃんのあくびなら見てみたい。
Of course you do.
きっとね、ふわーって。
Stop that.
お持ち帰り。
Of course you do.
そんなに可愛いとも思いませんけど。
Of course you wouldn't.
ふわーって喉の奥まで覗けるくらいの大あくびでしたよ。リカちゃんの大あくび。
Why are we left here with these two? Reina's handy at times like these. I finally managed a heartfelt laugh. Oh, right. I'm on day duty today, aren't I? I need to go water the flower garden. The garden's right outside the teacher's lounge, too, so that they can immediately tell if you don't do it right.
リカちゃんのだけじゃなく、さとこちゃんのも可愛いと思うわ。
Is that a threat? It feels like a threat.
窒息。
Please stop hugging the Satoko.
ちらっと見えた。可愛いの見えた。さとこちゃんのあくびも可愛い。お持ち帰り。
Good luck with that. Reina was strangling Satoko. I don't think that counts as yawning. That's a bad touch, Reina. You know, Reina is... I can't say it out loud, but she's a notorious censored, isn't she? Hearing Satoko make a weird noise like a chicken being strangled was kind of hilarious, and I couldn't help but laugh, because I am a truly horrible person. we couldn't help but laugh. And yes, Satoko has a high chance of dying before we do, right here. At some point, the classroom had erupted into laughter. Oh good, the classroom's full of assholes! It's like that scene from Spaceballs. Maybe Reina was doing it on purpose. Even if she wasn't, this nonsense was a child being strangled is a welcome sight? What? We should not be encouraging this. Anyway, let's get over to the flowers while I still have time. Slowly and quietly, lest I destroy the room's newfound peace, I left the classroom. The watering can was hanging up outside the kitchen. This building had originally been an all-male forestry service building, so there was apparently nothing so thoughtful as a garden here before. When they decided to have a school share the space, they built one there as a modest gesture of appreciation. But, well, the flower bed, it was a little longer than you'd expect. It went all around. It went all over the place. It was so big, one would need to refill the watering can 5 or 6 times to get it all done. I was doing this together with a kid who was, also, thankfully, on day duty today. She was in the lowest grade, though, and a full size smaller than even Rika-chan. I couldn't make a kid who would struggle just to lift the full watering can help me with this. For this, if one was placed on day duty with someone one liked, they'd do it all for you, so it'd be cake.
悪態をついても仕方ないな。諦めて仕事を始めるか。
Watering can in hand, just as I was about to leave the building, the old man from the forestry service addressed me.
兄ちゃん、倉庫裏に菜園があるだろ。だいぶくたびれかけたぞ。あそこにも水をやってあげな。
ああ、カレー菜園ですか？
Oh good, for curry.
じゃがいもとか人参とかカレーの具しか栽培してないっていう。
Potatoes are not just ingredients for curry. You take that back. It's definitely the personal garden of our curry-loving teacher, but making students responsible for keep is getting them involved in her personal affairs. I couldn't say that to his face, though, so I gave up and decided to carry out my day duties. The sunlight out front was strong. The great chorus of cicadas was strongly underlining how nothing was different today than yesterday. Are we going to get the bouncy music back here? I passed by the classroom, and I don't know how it happened, but Reina and Satoko were in the middle of a huge melee. While I was gone, the kids had arranged all the desks in a circle, forming a ring, while everyone was cheering them on. Game? What are you doing, Game? No, I'm being serious. Game, what are you doing? Why do we have school fight club happening? Pardon, Kate? That's how it should be? What? See, what? What the hell? The hell, Keiichi? Once school ended, we would need to return to reality, where talk of the elders' disappearance would once again be all over the place. I want to talk about the fact that you're watching Fight Club and saying that's how it should be, Keiichi. I wanted everyone to forget about everything and just have fun in a Fight Club! Just like yesterday, if only while they were at school. School Fight Club! This is a thing! In that sense, Satoko's whirling elbow and Rina's backwards flying spin kick made for a pleasant sight. What? Seriously, game, what the hell? What is... Seriously, what the hell, game? Fight club for students to take their mind off a guy's disappearance. And curse, but still, what the hell? What even is this game at this point? What even is this game at this point? You know, if Lady Maid shows up and asks what she missed, I'm just going to have to tell her to go watch the video. I cannot describe this. I cannot come up with an explanation for this. Even if, as a result, they flipped over my desk. That's my pencil box. That's also your friend's bodies and bones. I'm just saying. I'll just let it happen today. I set to work, hastily watering everything, wanting nothing more than to be done as soon as possible. That should about do it. No sooner had I thought that than I remembered that I had to water the teacher's curry vegetable garden too.
めんどくさいが、やらないと後でいろいろと不利益なことがありそうな気がする。
Keiichi, it's gonna come back to bite you either way. I gave up, filled the can with water again, and headed behind the warehouse. This was a place students didn't like to go. It was always damp here, and you can't discard the possibility of slugs and pill bugs being around. So when I ran across her in a place like that, I was surprised.
Slug! リカちゃんか。驚かせるなよ。
Rika-chan was just standing there like a puppet, devoid of life. I was the only one who was startled here. Did the game just kill off Rika-chan? Rika-chan didn't even seem to react to my appearance.
リカちゃん?
Okay, finally, she noticed me. Her expression was clearly abnormal. There was red under her eyes, stained with tears and dirt. There were blades of grass stuck in her hair, too, and her clothes looked like though she'd fallen to the ground.
リカちゃん、ひょっとして怪我したのか？転んだとか？
違うのですよ。違うのです。
She is very highly upset by the mayor's disappearance, I'm guessing. Rika-chan said, as the brightest voice she could manage as she rubbed her eyes. She didn't look anywhere near normal, though.
何があったんだ？まさか倉庫の屋根の上で昼寝とかしてて落ちたとか？
僕のことはいいのです。
Uh-huh.
それよりも、圭一に聞きたいことがあるのです。
Please don't ask about the night of Watanagashi. Personal space! At first I thought she was playing a trick on me. Eventually, however, I realized that I realized it was so that I wouldn't run from the question she was about to ask. I shuddered. We should have run already. You're going to completely ask if we were around Tomatake and Takano, weren't you?
俺に、なんだよ。
She looked straight into my eyes. Her upturned eyes bored right into me. It was as though they were trying to pull the answer out of my own eyes, without actually asking me the question. It was scary, so I averted my eyes from hers.
Keiichi?
Oh, good! The possession's taking the young one this time.
お祭りの晩に何か悪いことをしましたか？
I knew it. My body gave a jolt from its very core. Rika-chan, who was clinging to me, might have felt my shiver. A nervous tingle crawled up from my feet, and after going up my back and freezing my entire body, it made its way into my brain.
ケイイチ、本当に覚えはありませんか？
My head began to throb. I don't understand anything. Oh God, we've gone photo negative. Neon asked me. Uishi-san asked me. Shion asked me. And now Rika-chan was asking me. We thought nobody knew about what we did last night, but in fact, everyone knew? What do you mean last night? They all knew, and they came to ask me. Again and again, until I admitted it. When I thought about it, it was pretty clear the whole thing was out in the open. After all, don't Tomatake-san's and Takano-san's deaths prove it?
ケイイチ、
How should I respond? We never should have entered the Forbidden Storehouse. And even though I regretted it so much, wasn't she saying it wasn't enough? Super Rika-chan 4, Super Rika EX Plus Alpha! However, I had all but decided what I was going to say.
俺もそこが悪いからな。悪いことの覚えが多すぎて見当がつかないよ。
Just as I had with all the others, I evaded the question. Rika-chan stared up at me with innocent eyes. Her eyes were so painful that I had to look away. After a few moments of mutual silence, Rika-chan released me. I felt a sharp stabbing pain between my felt a sharp stabbing pain through my solar plexus. Looked down to see Rika-chan's hands buried a knife deep within me.
変なことを聞いてごめんなさいなのです。忘れてくださいなのですよ。
She said, smiling her usual smile. Then tap, 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 she went running off as if nothing had happened. As she retreated in silence, I could feel her accusing me.
リカちゃん。
Hello, K-Tech. If she didn't hear my voice, then I was going to give up. However, she heard it. Rika-chan swiveled around and waited for me to continue. I was the one that had questions now. Still, asking any of them could be a half-assed way of admitting what I did.
なあ、リカちゃん。
はいなのです。
If everyone knows anyway, then I should be able to at least ask this, right? Why is everyone asking me about the night of the festival? That evening, had I done something that wrong? I felt plenty sorry about it, and I only looked anyway. I didn't break anything or steal anything. Really? Still, Tomotaki-san and Takano-san, they died so miserably. Since those two had come to such an end, there's obviously no way it would only forgive me. Rika-chan cutely tilted her head in confusion, and waited for me to say something. If I were to admit what happened that night, though, she might suddenly do a 180, as if flipping a switch. That would make sense. Rika-chan was the Shrine Maiden. She was the least likely to forgive me for breaking the taboo, wasn't she? Upon reflection, wouldn't telling her be more terrifying than telling Mion or Uishi-san? Rika-chan could just give up and leave, couldn't she? She didn't. She only was quietly waiting for me to say it myself. Say it, Keiichi Maebara. If you really are sorry, then you should say so. Of course, it's normal to hesitate, given the crazy way Tomotaki-san and Takano-san died. A pulping machine called Chaos was grinding up my brain. The juice wrung out of it turned into big droplets of sweat which began to fall.
Keiichi?
Rika-chan suddenly straightened up, trying to pat me on the head. Oh, that's a good sign.
ケイイチが何を悩んでいるのか、僕にはよくわからないのです。
I had nothing to say to that. I lowered my head a little so that Rika-chan's palm could reach it. She petted me, kind of like one would a cat.
境内の裏を少し
Keiichi.
行ったところに大きな倉庫があるのをご存知ですか？西宮殿と言いますです。
Totally uninterested in that. My breath literally stopped. Rika-chan, though, wasn't acting in a coercive way at all. Because it's Rika-chan. She doesn't act coercive.
お祭りの晩、その西宮殿に猫さんが入り込んだのだそうです。
I believe we called it Keiichi.
猫？
はい、猫さんです。にゃーにゃーなのです。
Rika-chan knew. She realized I was in fear. I could tell she was desperately trying to choose the right words so that she wouldn't scare me.
猫さんは前から西宮殿の中を探検してみたいと思っていました。でも僕が意地悪をして中を見せてあげなかったのです。なので祭りの夜、猫さんは我慢できなくなって中に入ってみましたのです。
Oh, good. The cat? It was clearly supposed to be Takano-san. Yeah, we are working up to curiosity killed the cat, aren't we? Or wait, was it supposed to be me? Can be me. Think about it. There's no way she could actually be referring to you with this story, Keiichi. You didn't actually want to go in there at all. Not, at least not until the night of the festival.
実は中には猫さんが怖がるものがたくさんあったのです。
Maybe it's Shion. Rika-chan made a cute gesture like a ghost was coming out to frighten me.
猫さんはびっくり仰天。一目散に逃げ出してガタガタブルブルニャーニャーで大変なのです。
Okay, that was cute.
その猫が誰だって言うんだ？
猫さんは猫さんです。
The cat is a cat.
にゃーにゃ
Rika-chan still avoided saying it. The cat, though, was without a doubt me.
リカちゃん、頼む、教えてくれ。その猫さんはこれからどうしたらいい？
Maybe it was a desperate question to ask. I had sort of admitted to being the cat.
猫さんは猫さんですからにゃーにゃー泣いてるだけで大丈夫ですよ。
I
大丈夫ってそんないい加減な。
にゃーにゃー泣いてるだけではダメなのですか？
Jeez. Rika-chan and I have put together an entire conversation using cat as a code word. I didn't say it directly, but I'd already admitted it. Yeah, she is helping, to some extent. I didn't want to end up like those two. I didn't want to be a sacrifice, like Shion said. That's what I thought, so I stubbornly remained silent. But now, that's enough.
泣いてるだけじゃダメなんだ。猫さんがいたずら心で忍び込んだのを犬さんが見てたんだよ。
犬さん。
そうだ。
Yeah, McGruff the crime dog.
犬さんなんだ。猫さんのところへ代わる代わるやってきて忍び込んだだろうって問いただしてくるんだ。
After I said that, Rika-chan's expression clouded over. She was trying to hide it, but I'd already noticed her eyes darkening.
リカちゃん。
The silence was frightening, so I spurred her on. At that point, Rika-chan grinned.
大丈夫ですよ。猫さんは僕が守ってあげます。
That's vaguely frightening. Huh? I thought for a moment that I misheard those words, so dependable they were.
猫さんはとても怖がっていますが、本当はそんなに大変なことではないのです。何匹かの犬さんがきっと勘違いしてるだけなのだと思います。
そんなに大変なことじゃないって。
猫さんの心配しすぎなのです。僕がきっと何とかしてあげますですよ。
That's even more frightening. Rika-chan will do something about it. I don't even know left from right at the moment, so Rika-chan didn't look all that dependable.
ちょっと大変ですけど、頑張りますですよ。
Oh, what a friend we have in Rika, apparently.
ファイト、王なのです。
She clenched her fist and stuck it in the air. Rika-chan said that the cat can just keep meowing. She said to leave it all to her. Is that really all it took to resolve this whole thing?
本当にリカちゃんで大丈夫なのか？
僕が頑張らないと犬さんも大変なことになってしまうかもしれないのです。
Huh. I had no idea what Rika-chan was talking about anymore. I only vaguely have an idea anyway, normally. She'd been talking to me under the assumption that I was aware of certain things. So at first I understood her. Around the middle, though, I stopped understanding anything. However, one thing I did know was to not worry and to leave it to her. Rika-chan straightened up once again, patted me on the head, and smiled. I was so moved by that reassuring feeling that I couldn't help but start to cry.
ごめん。猫さんも本当にちょっとしたいたずらのつもりだったんだ。こんなことになるなんて全然。
猫さんは臆病すぎです。だから見せたくなかったのです。
Please don't do a 180. She was right. It was far too shocking for someone to see based on that little bit of interest alone. That's why they made it so difficult to look at in the first place, wasn't it?
リカちゃん、その猫さんはどうなるんだろう。
Do you know what neutering means?
忍び込んだ2匹の猫さんがそのあの晩に。
Game? I'd heard Tomataki-san and Takano-san's deaths were being kept a secret. Rika-chan might not have known about it.
富武と高野ですか？
She knows. I gave a start at the sudden mention of actual names. Though it's weird to do that at this point.
忘れると良いのです。
Can do! My spine froze again.
忘れる？
はい。あの二人のことを思い出すことは、圭一にとって良くないことなのです。考えれば考えるほど怖くなるだけです。
You know, Rika, I'm gonna trust you. It's going to kill me. I have a pretty good feeling, but I'm going to trust you here. Keiichi, on the other hand, is probably going to do something really dumb.
だから早く忘れた方がいいのです。
I'd love to. Do you have one of those little things from Men in Black? Or maybe the Forget Me gun from Gravity Falls? One of those two? She said something so enormously terrifying, without letting the smile on her face waver at all.
どこで聞いたかわかりませんが、綺麗さっぱりお風呂でゴシゴシするみたいに忘れちゃうと良いのですよ。
Yeah, return to the ways of the club. That's what we're going to do. That's what we should do. Nothing ever happened.
忘れるって言ったって、リカちゃんは知ってるんだろう。あの二人がどういう死に方を。
どんな死に方をしても、それは圭一とは関係のないことなのです。
Oh God. Nothing to do with me. So forget about it. The girl before me, she was innocent and lovable, and even seemed trustworthy, but suddenly she took on a new dimension. Don't get involved with their deaths. I'll help you, Keiichi. Those two contradictory statements twisted and distorted my image of the girl in front of me.
シオンはあいつはどうなるんだ？
It might have been dangerous to mention Shion's name, but I couldn't stop myself from asking. Rika-chan saw through everything anyway. There was no way I was going to fool her or keep anything from her at this point.
姉妹猫の妹ですか？にゃーにゃー。
Rika? I understand what you're trying to do, but this is very, very creepy.
そうだ。妹猫だ。
Rika-chan appeared to think upon this for a moment. It was hard for me to endure even this momentary silence.
姉猫は怒ってます。
Oh, good.
妹猫が悪いことをしたので、とても怒ってます。
Uh-huh. Well, I see no harm in forgetting Shion ever existed in the first place as well.
姉猫って。
That could only mean Mion. I recall being questioned by her yesterday.
圭一、姉猫はとても機嫌が悪いです。しばらくの間、そっとしてあげてほしいなのです。
Right there with you, Rika! Not in a good mood. Those words sent a shiver through me. Mion was mad. She was mad that we entered the ritual storehouse.
今日から部活はなしにしましょう。
I see the wisdom in your words, Rika.
え？なんでだよ。
Oh yeah, Mion's extra angry.
そっとしてあげてほしいからなのです。
I think so too. Rika-chan ended her sentence with such force that I couldn't say anything in response. Hey, Keiichi Maebara? Do the smart thing and listen to this little girl. Don't disobey Rika-chan right now. She's the only one who said she'll help me right now. I'll leave things to her, just as she said to. I mean, she even said that the cat should just keep meowing. I'll forget everything like she said. I'll leave everything to her. I'll forget everything about Takano-san and Tomataki-san and what I did that night. Just then, we heard a bell far away, marking the end of our lunch break.
じゃあ校舎に戻ろうか。
Oh god, we forgot to actually water the garden, didn't we? Kuri-sama's gonna kill us.
ケイチ、
As if she had noticed how miserable I was, about to leave everything to her and flee the scene, Rika-chan called out to stop me.
勘違いの犬さんが猫さんに噛みつこうとしたら知らせてくださいね。
Oh god. You're gonna kill Uishi, aren't you? The misunderstanding dog. She put it in such a cute-sounding way, but the true meaning behind those words was an eerie one.
勘違いの犬さんってなんだ。
村長を噛んだ犬さんです。
What? The dog that bit the mayor. Uh-huh!
どうして村長を噛んだのか僕にはわかりません。
So the dog isn't Uishi, it's the curse. Goody!
噛むならいたずら猫さんを先に噛むはずなのにです。
Uh-huh. The flow of blood in my body felt like it completely stopped for a moment. Rika-chan had admitted it. The sacrifices of the terrible calamity. She admitted that if they were to happen again, it would be Shion or I. This, I didn't know it was true about the girl standing before me. My suspicion gave way to fear, and nearly began to change to anger. Was she a savior who would protect me? Or a stranger trying to capture and kill me for the sake of a horrible tradition? I had no idea what was true.
ごめんなさいなのです。
For what?
猫さんが怖がっているのにまた怖がるようなことを言ってしまいました。ごめんなさいなのです。
It's okay. We are a moron. This is fine. Rika-chan bowed so quickly it looked like her head had been pulled downward. Still, she was right. I was cowering. I could distinctly feel my body shaking violently. So when Rika-chan reached her hand out to pat me on the head, I pulled away without thinking.
あ、
ごめん。
Rika-chan made a very sad face, but I just couldn't bring myself to put my head out for her again. Ooh boy, pissing off everybody today, aren't you, Keiichi Maebara? That day, Rika-chan said she wasn't feeling up with club activities today, so she suggested we not bother. There's always vetoes when someone doesn't feel up to it. Reina and the others seemed really disappointed. The big sister cat is not in a good mood. I remembered Rika-chan's words and quietly stole a glance at Mion's expression. If I could forget the way she questioned me yesterday, though, her behavior was the same as it always was.